Broadcast Row for the now generation. And now a special presentation from Broadcast Row. Broadcasting live from the greatest city in the world. Wake up. It's time, people, for your morning online gathering. Hosted by Mardel. It's the Wrestling Morning Show, and it starts now.
Okay, good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us. 844-627-3352. It's the Wrestling Morning Show. I am your host, Mardel. Once again, the call line, the text line is 844-627-3352. And we're going to start talking about Monday Night Raw from last night. I want to wish everybody a happy Labor Day. Belated. Hopefully you had a nice time this past weekend. Okay, so last night, going into Monday Night Raw, the biggest talk is Roman Reigns and John Cena and what's going to happen next. Well, they answered that from last night. Now, obviously, right before Cena and Roman were in the ring together, it was Cena versus Jason Jordan. We'll get to that in a second. But I want to refresh in your memory from last night. Here we go. Let's take a listen to two of the very best inside the ring right now.
I got one question for you, John. If you are what you say you are, why does it take a 16-time champ over 20 minutes to beat a rookie?
I mean, to be fair, he's not a rookie per se. We still don't know why Cena has his hair grown out.
The fact is, if you're as good as you say you are, you would have beat him right off the get-go. But you strung it on out, let him believe in himself, let them get into it, and then you crushed them. Or you lied last week. You ran your mouth like you always do. And you're not as strong, you're not as fast, you're not as good as you say or think you are. So that means you proved me right. Because you're a lying, fake-ass little bitch.
For the most part, they're in Omaha, Nebraska. And this crowd is actually very responsive.
Welcome Debbie Downer to Monday Night Raw. Roman, I'd say I'm happy to see you, but I'm disgusted by your whole face. You are doing the worst possible thing that a man like you could do right now, and that's try to use your brain. We all saw last week, homie, just stay in your lane. That's not your strong suit. Because you're thinking about questions. Have I lost a step? Do I string my opponents along, allowing them to make their own mistakes so I can adapt and overcome? You're gonna get the answers to these questions, Roman. Don't burn your brain cells. For gosh sake, you come out here with your zipper open.
I busted it, actually. Big dog.
Oh, sorry, I was just looking for your balls, but you ain't got none, so it's okay.
You would be looking for those.
My point is, my man, you're gonna get the answers to these questions at No Mercy. You don't have to ask them, because at No Mercy, you're gonna get beat. And you're gonna get beat by either a guy who lost a step or a guy who's been stringing you along for years. Letting you waltz out here mistake after mistake after mistake just so I could pick the right time to chop your ass down to size. You want to talk about questions? Only question Roman Reigns is going to have after No Mercy is how in the hell did this happen? Roman, I'll answer that for you right now. Because you're a conceited, know-it-all golden boy who needs to be taught a lesson in respect. Guys like Jason Jordan, guys like Chad Gable, they have to scratch and claw for every single inch. Hell, even a dude like The Miz, who I despise, but he scratches and claws and earns every single inch week by week. Damn, I respect that. I'll say this to your face, Roman Reigns, so you get where I'm coming from. I don't respect you. I don't respect how you waltz on down here, you, Roman Reigns, and call me a fake-ass bitch. Dude, the only person living a lie here is you. You come out here and say it's your yard. They don't agree so much. You come out here and say you're the guy. They don't agree so much. So if we're talking about questions tonight, Roman Reigns, I got one question for you. Is there any room in that clouded, protected, conceited brain of yours for you to actually see what the hell is going on here? Or do I have to beat some common sense into you?
Now we're talking, John. Do it. Come on, do it. Do it right here, right now. What do you think, Omaha? Do you want to see John Cena beat my ass? This is your moment. This is your moment to finally back up your big mouth. Do it. Just like I thought. You're all talk, John. And that's why I don't respect you.
Well, in 3 weeks.
Okay, we're going to talk about this for a second now, and hopefully you guys are part of this conversation as we talk about Roman, Cena, No Mercy. We love this buildup. We talked about it several times in the last week or so, especially online. We went into No Mercy thinking unbelievable, Braun and Brock, and then we saw this buildup, this dream matchup, what we've been waiting for a very while. A good guy versus the good guy. John Cena, Roman Reigns, No Mercy. John Cena's bringing the very best out of Roman Reigns. Last week was the epic promo work. They were in Memphis, Tennessee. And the crowd was split 50-50. I think it's marinated over the past week where it was a pro Cena crowd. It was great to see that. You have to respect Cena. First of all, he's making Roman Reigns look great. And everyone's been talking about, well, you know, what John Cena does, he buries people. No. Everyone is misunderstood when it comes to his entire thing. He's not burying anybody. First of all, if you're going toe-to-toe with John Cena, you better come prepared. Roman, last week, obviously, when he's doing his promo, got flustered. Cena, being the pro, took advantage of the opportunity. I thought Roman looked great this past week while they're in Nebraska. Looked very good. Cut a pretty good promo. Obviously, very funny with the zipper aspect. That could have been a work. Who knows? And then the people continue to say, as they mentioned Roman getting buried last week. That's all John Cena does. No. I can't imagine. And of course, Cena has the ear of everyone backstage. Don't be fooled by that. But realistically, if you are that good, you think they're going to ever let anybody bury you? No. And when you go pound for pound in the ring on the microphone with Cena, you have to come prepared. The very best talent rises to the top. You think if you truly hated, say, a Daniel Bryan, that Daniel Bryan wouldn't have risen to the top? No, it took some time. And of course, the fans were backing Daniel Bryan. That's what it's about. To this day, the one truth that Vince has said and Triple H has said, and they've said this a million times, the fans do dictate a lot of things. You notice how the Fashion Files are now on a key time slot every single time on SmackDown. The fans have dictated that. Just to give you a small point. Have the fans dictated Jinder Mahal continuing to be the champion? No. But he's getting a lot of heat. And that sends a clear message to everybody. John Cena's not burying anybody. He buries everybody. And if you're really that smart, go back and look at all the major pay-per-views in the last 5, 6, 7 years. It may not be the headliner. It may not be the main event. But when you talk about stealing a show, it's usually John Cena and whoever's opponent is. And then also look at John Cena's win-loss record in the last 5, 6, 7 years. Puts a lot of guys over. And he makes them look great. Don't be delusional to think just because you hate John Cena, or you may be sick of John Cena, that he's not a guy who does the job when need be. And I believe he'll do the job with Roman. But speaking of doing the job, one thing that I've been bringing up, and people have been criticizing me, and that's fine. It's their own opinion. But all this indication about The Undertaker, The Undertaker, The Undertaker, The Undertaker, the jabs about The Undertaker. Do we see a situation where they build this up at No Mercy, and it's going to be a fever pitch in Los Angeles? It's going to be a media zoo. The buildup for this is going to be awesome. That we see The Undertaker, and it becomes a no disqualification. Will Samoa Joe possibly be healthy? Because people, once they said, "Oh my God, this is an unbelievable rivalry," what they're doing. This is WrestleMania worthy. First of all, I think those notions of saving things for WrestleMania, those are over. It's right now, as it should be. And that's how it was, if you remember, the Attitude Era. And I hate to reference the Attitude Era, because after 20 years, you think we would evolve and there's a brand new era. But unfortunately, the Attitude Era is still the benchmark. Go back and look at some of the WrestleMania main events. Yeah, classics, don't get me wrong. Yeah, big-time names. Sure. But what made a lot of the WrestleManias, say late 90s, early 2000s, if we want to reference the Attitude Era, were storylines that we cared about. And the major difference between the Attitude Era and now, and I've said this several times, if you listen to the show, every match was important. Every segment was important. Something that was the second or third match on the card, you'd be invested into it as much as the main event. I do believe that this situation between Roman Reigns and John Cena, I do believe, and this is not a prediction, this is just a thought, it's not going to end clean. They've done such a fantastic job and have everybody talking about these two men that we could see an Undertaker. We could see a Samoa Joe. It's a no disqualification. They keep quiet for a second. And maybe they revisit to have a true match at Mania. Now remember, we all know John Cena is a free agent. There's no reason why this can't be a one and done while all eyes are on the Staples Center on Los Angeles. It makes sense. And I applaud the WWE for actually now starting to form some great ideas and some great thoughts for a pay-per-view in September, where they know they're going up against football very soon. And, of course, Hell in a Cell in October for SmackDown. Survivor Series in November. And the one thing from this summer of shock and awe, this summer of surprises, and, of course, the catalyst was setting the tone with Jinder Mahal becoming the WWE champion. Nothing surprises me. All right, the phone number is 844-627-3352. I hope you are listening. You could call or text. That number is the same. So if you don't want to talk, just call or text. Now, obviously, you're listening, most of you, by clicking on Twitter. That handle is Live Morning Show. Also, we stream live on Facebook at The Wrestling Morning Show. The website is thewrestlingmorningshow.com. Now, the easiest way to listen is probably to get the app in iTunes, Google Play. We always stream live on our major hub on Spreaker.com. And, of course, after the show is over, you can find it in podcast form, on demand, everywhere. Literally everywhere. iTunes, Google Play, Spreaker, Stitcher, SoundCloud, YouTube, iHeartRadio. And I probably even just forgot about 2 or 3 things. So, I have to applaud, once again, Monday Night Raw last night. And I thought it was a pretty decent crowd in Omaha, Nebraska. We're talking about the first 50 minutes. It was all matches. All matches. What I want to do now, I'm going to play a little audio from last, which is an interview backstage with Jason Jordan.
WWE Universe, Mike Rome here in Omaha, Nebraska, the site of Monday Night Raw tonight. And I just got some breaking news involving the gentleman standing next to me right here, Jason Jordan. Jason, talk to the WWE Universe about what you were telling me.
All right. Well, first off, I came to WWE Monday Night Raw because I wanted to take advantage of an opportunity to move forward in my career, to make an impact in WWE. With that being said, it's about 3 weeks ago, I'd say, there's a certain superstar who made an appearance on Monday Night Raw after about a year. Now, 15 years ago, that superstar was given an opportunity with Kurt Angle, and we'll just say his career skyrocketed. I decided to flip the script. I went in and I talked to Kurt Angle today. I asked him what better opportunity to make an impact in WWE than to wrestle John Cena. Well, let's just say he said yes, and that's going to kick off the show tonight on Labor Day. And I don't mean to cut you short, but I'm going to go get ready.
Thank you, Jason. We look forward to it.
Okay, yeah, we definitely look forward. Yeah, thank you so much. Okay, Jason Jordan takes on John Cena. This is huge. And it was no fanfare, no nothing. Boom. Cena enters. There's no promo. Jason Jordan comes out. What a great showcase. 15 years ago, John Cena debuted against Kurt Angle. It was the promo of ruthless aggression. It's fantastic. Now they return the favor. Jason Jordan takes on John Cena. Now we thought maybe Jason could have a little bit of a promo, but maybe it's best now to keep him off the microphone. He is missing a certain charisma, I find, on the microphone. You would think if they're getting him ready, and he did a great job selling the whole fact that Kurt is his father, and that the interviews backstage and after Monday Night Raw, where they would have interviews with Renee Young, and it was Kurt, and it was Jason Jordan. They're talking about how it came about that Kurt was his father. And I thought that was great. And that was pretty good, to be honest. But there's still this lack of charisma on the microphone, which is a little disturbing. You would think they would get somebody ready for this. We still don't know the direction. I think they're going to let it play out, which is fine. Let it play out. They're going to let it play out. Where does Jason Jordan go from here? Now, there's a couple scenarios. We've compared him to Rocky Maivia on the show before. He could be Rocky Maivia, this blue chipper that's forced down our throats like you would not believe. Until chance of die, Rocky, die. And, of course, Rocky Maivia, I don't remember what happened to him after that. But no, in all seriousness, Jason Jordan reminds me of this Rocky Maivia type character. Now, he could turn out to be a phenomenal face or a phenomenal heel. Regardless, he's got to get stronger on that microphone. But let's not take anything away from his in-ring ability. John Cena made Jason Jordan look very, very good last night. Very, very good last night. Once again, of course Cena goes over. Not that big of a deal. More importantly, you should be thinking about how good Jason Jordan looked inside the ring. That was a long match. Think about that. And what drives me nuts, and that's why I despise the term smart. You're really not a smart fan. Especially when people want to say they hate Cena, but they don't give me a reason. They don't give a reason why. It makes absolutely no sense. Once again, if you really, really want to think about this, go back and look at all the matches he's had on pay-per-views the last 5, 6, 7 years. So all he does is make people look good. He steals pay-per-views, even if he's not the main event, the co-main event, the headliner, nothing. There was a run there of a couple years where he was doing the job big time, even when he didn't have to, because he doesn't have to. He's already established himself. Years ago, he became an icon. We are living in the John Cena era. And single-handedly, the biggest truth to come out in the last couple weeks, when Cena and Roman in the ring, is it's true. He wanted to move away. He wanted to step away. No one's even come close to take the mantle from him. I don't know if that's a nod to Cena or that's just a sad state of some of the talent. Because there's a lot of talent who could. You must realize, if you're listening to this program, if you actually know wrestling, you actually know wrestling, and even if you know the entertainment side of it, do you know how hard it is to be a face and sustain it? And John Cena has. Now, granted, he is alienated a lot of the adults. That's fine. I don't think he's worried about it. It really upsets me when it's a lot of people who just don't have common sense when it comes to wrestling. Now, granted, everything I say is subjective. I'm not trying to knock too many people here. Not trying to knock anybody, by no means. But you got to be realistic. And really, this entire thing is fueled by everybody online saying, he's buried Roman. He's trying to bury Roman. He buries everybody. One name that they brought out was Dolph Ziggler. I'm a huge Dolph Ziggler fan, if you've ever listened to this program before. Are you telling me Dolph Ziggler has not had opportunities to take it to another level? Come on. Just one person who's linked to John Cena. And some of that could be a personal situation, of course, is what a lot of people point fingers to. But come on. You got to be serious about that. All right, let's go back and review a little bit of Monday Night Raw. It is 9:28 Eastern Standard Time. Join the conversation. Call, text 627-3352. Now, that first match, Cena, Jordan, we talked about it. Now, Cena goes for the AEA and gets the pin. Some great combinations, obviously, when they come back from commercial, because there's nothing usually going on before that first commercial break. Jordan looked very good, and this is utterly important for Jordan's career right there. Looked good, could go toe-to-toe. It looked a little out of sync. There was obviously no chemistry inside the ring between them. That's how I felt. But Jordan looked very good. Sheamus and Cesaro versus Slater and Rhino. Seth and Dean are on commentary. This really was just kind of establishing what's going on between this feud. And really it ends relatively quick with Sheamus giving the bro kick and pins Rhino. A lot of stare downs, a lot of looks. This would come into play later on in the program. So now we quickly move on to match number 3. This has all been about wrestling and only a few promos. But Jeff Hardy and The Miz, as there should be. There's a lot of love for Jeff Hardy online. And when I mean online, I mean fans. Not that online is the end-all. Jeff Hardy and The Miz. This is for the Intercontinental Championship. I was wrong about this. I thought this would end in no disqualification. This feud would carry on to No Mercy, especially with a little over 2 weeks left. Now, there's 2 ways it's going to go about. We're going to see the Hardys and a partner versus the Miz Taraj, one way. Or why not a rematch? Now, it wasn't, I wouldn't call this interference, of course. But there was a moment where Jeff Hardy was going to go for the Swanton. And then I believe Maurice grabbed Miz's hand, not so much to pull it, not so much to do whatever, but to let him know, hey, a Swanton is coming. Moves out of the way. Miz lands the skull-crushing finale, and there you go. So the Miz retains. There was excitement last night between these guys, and I enjoyed it. And I hope this kind of continues. The Miz needs this. Just 2 weeks ago, he's cutting unbelievable promos inside the ring. And it goes back. It's been the entire story for the last year or so with the Miz. Cuts a great promo on something like talking smack or inside the ring. And then we kind of forget about everything. You're talking about a situation where you can make this intercontinental strap mean a lot. After I do believe that WWE recognized a slight embarrassment by not having that title defended at SummerSlam, one of the big 4 pay-per-views. Not only that, you have your champion kick off SummerSlam with nobody in attendance. And I should rephrase that. He didn't kick off SummerSlam. He kicked off the kickoff show. Not only did he kick off the kickoff show, but this was a 2-hour kickoff show before SummerSlam. Come on. Way too talented for that. And it wasn't just him. It was also, not to mention, the people he was against were the Hardy Boys. It was very embarrassing, almost cringe-worthy to watch. But that was a long time ago. That was last month. Okay, so now, interesting topic, and people talk about this all the time. Enzo Amore. Now, we've all expressed fatigue when it comes to Enzo. And what next? That sucks. Big Cass got hurt. So now Enzo is in the 205 division, the discussion with 205. And I got to give him props. It is a little more exciting with him there. I mean, we all experienced a lot of Enzo fatigue in the last couple months. Okay, so we have now 3-on-3. This has been the norm now for 205. So we have the Grand Metallic, Alexander, Enzo. They took on Tony Nese, Noam Dar, Drew Gulak. And there was a lot of energy. There was actually a lot of energy. And it was done for the entrance of Enzo. And it wasn't bad. Some great combinations. These are talented people. They still have not found a way to truly brand these individuals. It gets a little frustrating because these guys are very talented. And there's been a whole bunch of talk, especially on this show. Do we rebrand it? Do they just cancel the promotion? Do they let these guys marinate into the regular storylines? You start wrestling the same people over and over. Yeah, okay, sure, you might have better matches, but there's only so much promo work you could do with these guys. And these guys are not even doing promo work. Still, since day one, Neville's the best thing going in this entire promotion. So now people want to say Enzo has not earned the right to take on Neville. It's not true. As much fatigue as we talk about when it comes to Enzo, people love Enzo. People do. You have to admit it. You would think even with this fatigue that people would start booing him. Now, granted, some of the responses for him are not as loud as they once were. But people tune in. People buy the merchandise. Then Enzo has a lot of fans out there. And it's not the worst thing in the world if he could be somebody that could revitalize this brand that I think is just doomed. So Team Enzo actually picks up the win as Enzo pins Drew Gulak, who I enjoy very much. We're going to take a small break. When we get back, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to continue with the second half of Monday Night Raw. We're going to talk about a lot of topics that we want to talk about. Hopefully you guys aren't hungover. Hopefully you guys had a nice Labor Day weekend, relaxing and whatnot. We're going to talk about the 4 horsewomen of MMA. And, of course, the 4 horsewomen of the WWE.
Now back to the Wrestling Morning Show.
Okay, so welcome back, everybody. September 5th, the day after Labor Day. Hopefully you guys had a nice weekend. Call. Text the show. It's very easy. The number is 844-627-3352. That's 844-627-3352. You can follow us also at Live Morning Show. Hashtag Wrestling Morning Show if you want to join that conversation. We are streaming live on Spreaker. And, of course, our own app you could download in iTunes and Google Play. And, of course, if you just, obviously, go to the website, thewrestlingmorningshow.com. We got all information that you guys need. 9:38 Eastern. Okay, a couple things we're going to have at our main topic for the second hour. One, we're going to have the code break with Brent Coder coming up. Also, who are some mid-carders on SmackDown Live that could step up? That's going to be in our open forum discussion coming up in the second hour, because I think there are a lot of mid-carders now. Let's take some chances. Regardless if you hated or you loved Jinder Mahal becoming the WWE champion for over 100 days now. Congratulations. That was the big clap for him. I mean, you must know he's carrying 1.3 billion people on his shoulders. It's my favorite line every time he comes out. And, of course, last week they're talking about Asia, and he's representing Asia. Okay, talk about two great superstars who have nothing going on. So what they're doing now is, of course, this has been the trend of fall after SummerSlam, is the rematches for 2 or 3 pay-per-views. So far, we have not seen that, which is great. But I'm sure some will be coming up for No Mercy and, of course, Hell in the Cell. Still fallout from SummerSlam. And one thing I have to applaud Raw and SmackDown, because the Raw and SmackDown after SummerSlam, which is traditionally rematch city, really wasn't rematch city for those two shows a couple weeks ago. But now we go into a different direction between these two men. Let's go ahead and refresh in your memory. It's a little Finn Balor inside the ring. Want to hear from you? Call, text 844-627-3352. I love how he acknowledges the Too Sweet.
Omaha, Nebraska, this is Balor Club. Too sweet. You know, the NXT Championship used to look real good around this waist. And the Universal Championship used to look real good around this waist. And the Intercontinental Championship would have looked real good around this waist if it wasn't for Bray Wyatt. You see, when Bray appeared last week in the Battle Royal, he cost me my opportunity to challenge The Miz. And I learned that although I may have been victorious at SummerSlam, you never truly beat someone like Bray. He never truly goes away. He always seems to appear when you least expect him. Well, mark my words, Bray. The next time you appear, I will be ready. I've chosen my faith, and I'm not afraid. I don't run from my demons, because sometimes I become them.
Oh, great writing, by the way. No, of course not.
Continue to play games week after week. Let's play!
Careful what you wish. When I was a child, She used to take me hunting. And I'll never forget the first time I flicked my little finger and an arrow struck through the heart of my prey. Yeah. It was an exhilarating experience. And I was good at it. But after a while, I got bored. It just became too easy. Yeah. So I decided I wanted to shake things up a little bit. So I put my weapon down and I started to just use thee. Just thee. My bare hands became their judge, their jury, and their executioner. My bare hands judged them all. And they were always guilty. I showed them no mercy. And during those moments, when I had the chance to end their pathetic existence or let them run along, I made a choice. And that choice defined me. I knew what I was. I knew what my purpose was. You weren't victorious over me at SummerSlam. The demon was. The demon is your bow and arrow, Finn Balor. Put it down. Face me man to man and show me no mercy. Make a choice, Finn. Define your legacy. Make a choice, Finn Balor.
I've already made my choice, Bray. I know exactly what I am. I am Finn Balor.
There he is. There he is. The confident hero they all dream of becoming. But now, the big question remains. At No Mercy, will you prove to these insignificant souls who worship you that a mere mortal can topple a god? Or are you gonna be like all the others? Running around like a scared little rabbit. Run, little rabbit. Run. Run, little rabbit. Run.
Okay. All right. So I spoke too soon as I'm complimenting the WWE for these rematches that have not taken place. But this obviously will happen at No Mercy. And I think it'll happen beyond. So we saw we saw Finn as the demon. Now we're going to see Finn as, well, Finn. And of course, there has to be a third match coming up, which could lead them to October. Bray Wyatt is just amazing. He really is amazing. The best character out there. Unbelievable on that microphone. And I hope there's going to come a day very soon where he's just a full-blown face. Because I think the crowd will eat him up in a good way. Okay, now that this is something that upset me. Nia and Emma get a chance. And they get a chance to go against Alexa and Sasha. They win. It's a fatal four-way at No Mercy. I continued, even though there was a rematch that was coming up, I continue to want to see Nia. I continue wanting to see Alexa and Nia. I want to get that build up. It's a great storyline. Maybe they're saving it. Obviously, they know it's a great storyline. They've teased it many times. She even attacked Alexa. So, it's going to be a fatal four-way. This match was, once it was booked, we knew it was going to happen. Emma got the pin on Sasha. At least that happened. She didn't pin the champion. So we're going to see Nia, Emma, Alexa, and Sasha. Fatal four-way at No Mercy. All right, it is what it is. I don't think Sasha fans are that happy. I don't think Alexa fans are that happy. But the Nia fans are growing. Especially if you're online. You realize this. So now we move on to Dean and Seth versus Gallows and Anderson. Sheamus and Cesaro, they come out. Club looked very good, my friends. And they were definitely good brothers in this match. It was a pretty good battle between all four men. Now, there came a point where Sheamus and Cesaro tried interfering, but it just didn't happen. And Dean and Seth, they go over. Gallows and Anderson, they're just the momentum with some of their lines. They're getting a better reaction from the crowd. Fantastic, both these guys inside the ring. So how is this going to pair up right now for No Mercy? Now, it's a given that at least Sheamus, Cesaro, Dean, and Seth are in there. Curious if Gallows and Anderson make their way onto the card versus the four men. I'm getting excited for No Mercy. I really am. And obviously, the majority of this is because of Cena and Roman. And Brock and Braun. Now, Brock and Braun, we thought, wow, this is going to be awesome just to watch those guys. Now we add on. It's pretty fantastic. So all they've been doing for the last 2 hours at this point, maybe even longer, is talking about the last time Braun and Big Show faced each other. And we all knew this was coming, by the way, and how it was double reinforced for the steel cage. The ring was double reinforced. And one of the highlights for me, to be honest, maybe you guys chuckled at this, or maybe I'm just being a weirdo, but one of the highlights for me, John Cone, the ref.
That I will never forget. When Braun Strowman grabbed Big Show for that suplex off the top rope, I reached out for the ropes just to brace myself. I mean, you have the weight of those two behemoths crashing down. I expected the ring to shake, but that was more than I bargained for.
Well, what are you expecting tonight when Braun Strowman and Big Show meet in a steel cage?
So I talked to the ring crew, and they've told me that the ring is double reinforced. But seriously, when you take a giant and the monster among men and lock them into a brutal steel cage, and their intentions are to maul each other, I have no idea what to expect. I'm just going to stay out of the way.
That's the first ever we've ever played a promo by a referee, by the way. So that is the big main event. And of course, thank you for the insight on John Cone. Thank you. Great job. If you're just joining us, it is 9:51 Eastern Standard Time. The number is 844-627-3352. Call us, text us, same number. All right, now it's a Big Show and Braun and the steel cage. By the way, one of the first times, if not, probably the first time I've ever seen Braun get knocked out happened during the match. It was a fun, explosive, athletic competition. And hats off to Big Show, who looks phenomenal, looks younger without that beard. Best shape we've ever seen him in. And we've seen him sustain that for a while now. It was a great back and forth. It was fun, and we thought something was going to happen. They must have mentioned this steel cage. The ring was reinforced. We knew something was going to happen. But what? We're all anticipating. And of course, sometimes it is hard to see through the steel cage, especially if you were there. We get a little bit easier because we were at home, and sometimes they have some of the videos, the cameras inside the ring. But Braun would prevail. With the power slam, gets the pin. Power slams him again. Get a little heat on him, too, by the way. He throws the Big Show through the cage. One of the fences pop open. One thing I do want to do, I want to show respect.
The monster of men.
This is one of the better promos we've seen Big Show do. Let's just refresh in your memory.
Steel cage. I've had a lot of big matches in my career. For 23 years, I faced every opponent conceivable. But I've never faced an opponent as imposing as Braun Strowman. Well, let's face the facts here. Let's call it like it is. I've had more steel cage matches than Braun Strowman's had matches. I know how brutal a steel cage can be on the human body. I know that when I hurl Braun Strowman into that steel cage, I'm gonna shred the skin on his face. I know when I ram his body into that unforgiving steel, his bones are gonna break and he won't be able to stand. Then I'm gonna wrap my hand around his throat and I'm gonna take him all the way to the penthouse. And then I'm gonna give him a choke slam straight to hell. Then I'm gonna walk out victorious. You see, but a guy like Braun Strowman, he doesn't respect me. Braun Strowman's the kind of guy that wants respect on what he thinks he's owed, not on what he's earned. So Braun Strowman wants to go out and run his mouth on social media that, oh, he's gonna put me out to pasture? Me. Braun Strowman, in order for you to put me out to pasture, you're gonna have to break me. And let me smarten you up, son. In 23 years, there hasn't been one superstar big enough or bad enough to break me. So you wanna send me a little message? Well, I got a message for you. You call yourself the monster among men? I'm the world's largest athlete.
That was fantastic. I tell you what, I applaud the booking that's been going on with Big Show. First of all, gets revitalized with a brand new look. I'm talking about slimming down. Now he shaves his beard, looks great, looks younger, as a matter of fact. We're seeing moves Big Show has never done before, not since he was the Giant in WCW. And mind you, he was like probably 22, 23 at that time. He's also fell in line with it very nicely with the feud he had with Big Cass, and now this. Now this is obviously just a one-off, and of course they'll recycle this someday in the future when they need two giants in the ring like that. But it was awesome. It was, if this was a year ago, we thought it was just going to be obviously squashed by Braun Strowman, and of course Big Show is a lot heavier. But I enjoy how he's been revitalized. All right, it's 3 to the top of the hour of 10 o'clock Eastern. And we get back on this program. We got the code break coming up. We're also going to talk about some of the mid-carders on SmackDown Live. Who can step up? Because I do believe they need a shot in the arm. We're going to talk more about No Mercy, talk more about the fallout from Monday Night Raw. We're going to take some of your calls, take some of your messages, 844-627-3352. We're going to have a nice little open forum with you guys. Hopefully you join the conversation. It's the Wrestling Morning Show. We do this every Tuesday, every Wednesday, 9 a.m. You guys have a voice on this show. We'll talk soon. Okay, one thing I want to bring to your attention as we enter the second hour, the four horsewomen of the MMA, led by, of course, Ronda Rousey, had a little run-in with the four horsewomen of the WWE. Let's go ahead and take a listen.
A big win for Shayna tonight. Tell me, how proud of you of her?
We are so proud of her. Like, she's worked so hard to earn her place here. She's been working for years, ever since we met her. This is all she's talked about.
She's the reason we are even here.
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
She deserves this.
Shayna, the reason Baszler. You name the time, and you name the place.
Okay.
Oh, not today? All right. We're waiting to hear from you.
All right, so that was kind of a waste, but they're there to support Shayna. And of course, so it's always been a speculation that Ronda Rousey would be joining the WWE at some point. Now, obviously, the audio you heard doesn't do it justice, but I put it up on Twitter if you guys have not seen the video yet. And really, it's the four horsewomen from the MMA, led by Ronda Rousey. We see them at all the wrestling events. We've seen several documentaries over the years and insight into the UFC when it comes to Ronda Rousey. And she's talked about her love for wrestling. We all know that. So then now they have a stare down, and it's Bayley and Charlotte and Becky. And Bayley looks completely out of place, of course. Can we see this at a Royal Rumble? Sure, why not? We see a lot of things coming up, as a matter of fact. And I want to give a shout out to everybody in the UK listening to the show right now. I know that for a fact because you guys have been commenting on Twitter, and I appreciate that. Now, it's in the afternoon over there. You guys are probably driving home or getting done with work. Well, ladies and gentlemen, time has come where it's time for, of course,
It's the Code Break with Brent Coder.
And now we got Brent Coder on the line for the Code Break. Coder, how are you, sir?
What's going on, Mardel? I'm doing well.
How was your Labor Day weekend?
It was pretty good, pretty good. I ended up having quite a bit of work to do, but I did get to barbecue a little bit, got to spend some time with family, so can't complain. It was a nice weekend.
Well, that's good to hear. All right, well, slightly uneventful night last night. A couple things to come out that we're going to talk about leading up to No Mercy. Let's start with John Cena, Roman Reigns. The second promo in this build-up for a feud, I think now it was a little bit more even last night, a lot shorter, a lot quicker, to the point. Your intrigue, your interest, has it risen? Or did it reach a pinnacle last week? Give me your thoughts about that promo between Cena and Roman last night.
It was good. It was it's a little hard to top last week. Obviously, that was an epic promo in the first time we saw it. So last night was a continuation of that. I thought Roman did a little better this week, holding his own. Had a little snappy comeback to Cena saying his fly was down. That added some humor to it. But I liked it. It's just, it is what it is. Like I said, it's hard to top last week's, which was on an epic level. But it was a continuation of that. And I could watch these guys go back and forth every week until they actually lock up. But I thought it was good.
Okay, so, yeah, and one thing that I've talked about last night, and I've talked about on this show, I have to bring this up to you, and I actually got criticized on Twitter for this last night with some replies and direct messages, but everybody's entitled to their own opinion. Of course, you got to be subjective, but first of all, thank you for paying attention, even if you don't agree with me. I kind of mentioned that even though this is a big fight field, this is a WrestleMania-worthy match, and I'm a firm believer, let's not worry about WrestleMania. WrestleMania is going to sell itself. Any way you think about it, they're going to put out all the stops regardless. And if the summer has taught us anything of surprises and shock and awe, let's move this on to the fall and give us a match, not only Braun and Brock, but of course what we're talking about is Cena and Roman. I don't think it's going to finish clean. I think Samoa Joe will be healthy enough to do a run-in. More importantly, I cannot get out of my mind Taker possibly showing up. So I ask you, Coder, illuminate me. Will this be a clean decision? A disqualification? Do we see a Samoa Joe? Do we see an Undertaker? And then, of course, John Cena being the free agent, maybe he disappears, goes back to SmackDown. Who knows? He's growing his hair out for a film. A little awkward to see that. And then the big payoff could possibly be a WrestleMania. Where do you think this plays out? That's my question to you.
I could see a run-in totally, whether that's Joe or Undertaker or, someone else, Jason Jordan, who knows. But, yeah, I could see this match getting interrupted and not having a finality to it so that it sets it up for, another confrontation down the road, whether that's WrestleMania or Royal Rumble or a bigger pay-per-view than No Mercy. But No Mercy is certainly shaped up to be a big one. Yeah, a lot of times when you get these first few, there's no real finality to a very first match usually. Even with The Rock and Cena, we saw it again, even though it was a once-in-a-lifetime match.
Right. But that was also
twice. So.
Right, but it was on a big stage both times. But go ahead.
Yeah, so I think all of the things you just outlined are totally plausible. I'd love to see the Undertaker come back. I think that would make a lot of sense. Obviously, his name has been evoked several times over the past month or so, and every time Roman's out there, he wants to remind us that he retired The Undertaker. So that would be sweet revenge, and that would be awesome to see. They're in LA, so the potential's there for The Undertaker to be there. Joe doesn't have a match right now, so why not get involved? And I'd love to see a feud with him and Roman, and we can get back to Cena and Reigns somewhere down the line. But I don't think we're going to see any sort of finality. I don't think one of these guys is going to go over clean or anything like that, obviously. So, I expect some sorts of shenanigans to go down.
Okay, one thing that I was upset with about last night was I'm a huge fan of Alexa Bliss, as we both are. But we knew the rematch was going to happen soon with Sasha and Alexa, and it was scheduled for No Mercy. I wanted to see Nia Jax and Alexa. I think there's a great storyline. That's been put on the back burner. But now they set up a fatal four-way. There's always fatal four-ways. That's the trend lately. It's actually getting a little annoying. But fatal four-way with these four women. I can only imagine this is a reason to get all four women in the ring together. I believe Alexa would retain. We've been wrong, especially at SummerSlam. And then it's over. Sasha, Alexa, it's over. Maybe we go to an Emma-Sasha feud or whatever. But more importantly, I'm hoping this could possibly set up a situation where finally we see Nia Jax and Alexa Bliss go one-on-one. Are you a little upset with the Fatal 4-Way, or you think it's all right?
I'm okay with it. It's better than the match I thought we were going to get again, with just Alexa and Sasha straight up. We've seen that, a few times. So I was kind of excited to see, all four women. I think this will be a good match. I mean, yeah, we've seen a lot of Fatal 4-Ways lately, but the one thing is a lot of them have been really good. So, I think it's good for Emma and Nia, obviously. I think Nia will get her opportunity one-on-one, but this is a good showcase for her to be in a title match. And, she could walk away with it and have a feud with Alexa, or a lot of different things could fall out of this. So I'm actually fine with it. I think it's better than the one-on-one matchup that we're going to have, and I think it's a great opportunity for both Emma and Nia, who deserve it. At least Nia. I don't know so much Emma, but Nia definitely deserves it.
All right, I want to pick your brain about two things that happen outside the ring. Number one, Corey Graves will be replacing JBL on SmackDown commentary. Are you fine with that? Or was it a little lazy that they couldn't find anybody else? Corey Graves has tremendously gone from shaky to phenomenal in a span of a year, in my opinion. I think he's definitely picked up the slack of a very unenthusiastic, it seems in my mind, Michael Cole, who's been doing it 20 years, mind you. And now he comes to SmackDown where it's Byron Saxon and it's Tom Phillips and now Corey Graves. Are you happy with this, or do you think maybe they should have gone with a wild card or a pro or someone different?
I'm disappointed that JBL's not going to be there. I'm a big fan.
Yes.
I think he has made that brand, over the last couple of years. And so I don't know that he can be replaced. I think Corey's done a pretty good job, over the last couple of years and maybe deserves the opportunity. But, I'm a bit surprised. This is the first time I heard JBL was leaving, but I hadn't heard Corey Graves was replacing him. So that's breaking news to me. I don't know what other possibilities are out that they could have gone to, but I think Corey's certainly deserving of it. But I'll miss JBL, man. I mean, he was one of the best. Yeah,
unbelievable. And not only that, if you talk the lineage of SmackDown, I mean, during a time of really uncertainty is post-Attitude Era, the rise of John Cena, the dominance of Edge, JBL was right up there. And in my opinion, probably the greatest gimmick change of all time, going from Bradshaw, the Acolytes, to, of course, JBL. One other thing I want to pick your brain about outside of the wrestling ring. For the first time ever, they're going to be live on Christmas and New Year's Day, Monday Night Raw, And already there's a huge backlash about, oh my God, I can't believe you're making these wrestlers wrestle on Christmas. Oh my God, I can't believe you guys are making these guys wrestle on New Year's Day. Of course, Christmas more important than New Year's Day, I would say, when it comes to the landscape. Just as a professional as you are, you think it's the right thing to do, or is this just an opportunity to capitalize financially and get some viewers?
Well, certainly an opportunity to do the latter, and a marketing opportunity on Christmas Day. I mean, I'm happy with it. I mean, it gives me something to watch. I'm not an NBA fan,
right?
And typically that's what you're going to get on a Christmas Day as far as sports. So it's cool with me. And a lot of the Christmas time shows are a little hokey. They play up the holidays. The storylines are typically a little bit less serious around that time as they get ready to build to Royal Rumble shortly after the holidays. It's a lot of sometimes meaningless foods and goofiness. Somebody's dressed as Santa. Santa, gets run over by a car. All kinds of different things happen to Santa every year. But I hope it's more of a marquee show and they really take advantage of the opportunity and doesn't turn into just a hokey, typical Christmas show. And it may not, because, I think a lot of the reasons we see those types of shows around the holidays is because they know people have other things going on. Viewership goes down, and they try and make it a more family-friendly type of show around the holidays. But we may see a more pay-per-view style, show on Christmas, which would be awesome. So, yeah, I mean, hey, I'm all for it. We'll try something new. It's great for them in a marketing sense, I think. And there's nothing else for me to watch on Christmas because I don't watch NBA. So bring it.
Truly the one day where nothing is open, if you have to get out of the house. And a lot of people get cabin fever, but at least there's something on television. Now, if history repeats itself, around Christmas time, the shows are always in the East Coast, closer to headquarters. So we may see the Christmas show in New York, Connecticut. I can only imagine. Maybe in New Jersey. Not to mention it's also a hub of airports in that eastern seaboard that people could travel to. As much as I would be excited to watch wrestling on a Monday night, because really there's nothing to do, and by that time people are tired and they spend time with their family. You have to also remember that they always do these so many holiday shows in December. So they're on the road nonstop. And what's unfortunate, a lot of these people don't have a chance to see their kids. They don't have a chance to see their loved one or their families. Now, granted, it lands on a Monday. I don't know. I think they could have done without this one. But granted, football players may play on holidays. Obviously, basketball on holidays. Baseball, not really. They'll play on holidays, but not the family-oriented once a year, special ones like Christmas or Thanksgiving. So I don't know how I feel about that, to be honest. So many people have their conversation online about this situation. Selfishly, 100%. It's going to be awesome to have Raw on Monday. And then the Hangover episode, the 26th, where we get to watch SmackDown. All right, let's move on and talk a little more about wrestling. I just want to pick your brain. As an educated adult like yourself, I had fun watching Big Show and Braun last night. This is not your typical Braun squash. They actually wrestled. They fought. It was fun. And you knew something was going to happen. One of my highlights was also probably the interview by John Cone, the referee backstage, who took that unbelievable bump, which I just laugh every time I see it. But I enjoyed that match last night.
No, I loved the match. I thought Big Show looked great. Got to see him go with the flying elbow off the top rope, which you're not going to see every day or ever. I thought it was an excellent matchup. It was a great way to build Braun going into his match with Lesnar, to put him over the Big Show and show how violent and brutal he can be at the end by body slamming him through the cage. I thought it was the right match. I mean, they're now have two epic matches between these guys. They broke the ring the first time and broke the cage the second time, and we'll certainly see this matchup again. But I thought the show looked great. They showed how to do it. They showed how to have a cage match. One thing I was a bit confused by is you don't always get. Usually the stipulation is you got to climb out or you got to walk through the door, and they actually had a pinfall last night beside a cage match, which you don't see all the time. I thought it was a bit weird, but overall I thought it was a great match. Violent matchup, a pretty fast pace for two big guys. They had the crowd invested in it, and I thought it was a pay-per-view caliber match that we got to see last night on Raw.
One thing I also want to bring up, I was impressed with Jason Jordan. First of all, it didn't look as natural as I thought it would be. There was some sort of chemistry that was dipping in and out, but for the most part, Jason Jordan looked very good. And one topic we're going to talk about tomorrow is we're going to talk about John Cena, and we're going to talk about, does he bury people? And all this entire week of people just mentioning that that's all John Cena does. We don't have enough time right now to talk about that. But John Cena obviously goes over against Jason Jordan. But the most important thing, Jason Jordan looked good last night. Give me your thoughts about Jordan last night against Big Match John.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. Jordan looked awesome last night. In the ring, he looked like he could hold his own with a guy like Cena, who's, obviously at the top. So I thought, a great position for him to be in to further his character, to show, what he's going to look like on a main event stage someday. He's not quite ready, but I enjoyed it. I love the Northern Lights suplex back to back. Was a cool spot. There were several. Obviously Cena goes over. Totally expected that, but it was certainly interesting to see how he was going to hold his own against some top talent. And I totally expect him to be there. By this time next year, if not sooner. He's going to be in some marquee matchups himself for titles. I think is the plan, and he certainly looked like he was deserving of those opportunities when they do come. With his first, dip in the water last night with Cena and that caliber of talent. I mean, I guess he was with Finn, just the other week. He's gotten a couple of actually great opportunities to match up with some top guys, and I think he's looked good in both matches, and certainly did last night against Cena.
Okay, one thing that we are following closely here on the show, and because we're big fans of The Miz, and of course we're fans of Jeff Hardy and Matt Hardy. Okay, last night was for the Intercontinental Championship. I didn't think there was a chance Jeff Hardy was going to go over. I think now my question to you, there was a moment where, and I wouldn't even call this interference, but Maurice touches Miz's hand, notifying that a swanton was coming. Miz gets out of the way, applies the skull-crushing finale, and goes for the pin. Okay. Out of the entire spectrum of shenanigans, this was just minute. What are we doing for No Mercy? Is it going to be Jeff and Miz again, which I would love to see one-on-one, finally having the Intercontinental Championship on a pay-per-view? Or do you think we'll go back to Miz Taraj, Hardy Boys, and a player to be named later? After last night, because it wasn't it looked, for the most part, as clean as a Miz match would go. I don't know what direction they're going in. Do you think you might have a pulse on this, Coder?
I think we're going to see more of, like you said, we're going to see more. I never expected a finality to things with last night's match. I think it was just used to, continue the feud between the Hardy Boys and the entire Miz Taraj. So it's likely we may get some sort of, 3-on-2 or 3-on-3, a player to be named later, like you said, type of match, or we could see even Matt Hardy step in with a one-on match against The Miz, in either the coming weeks or actually as the matchup at the pay-per-view for the title, which I'd be fine with. But I think this was just a stepping stone to continue their feud. I didn't expect at all, like as you were saying, I didn't expect Jeff to go over last night at all, and I expected The Miz to retain and just continue this feud. So where it goes is a little bit hard to say right now, but I think we'll see a match from Matt, certainly one-on-one with The Miz. And then this just may be another type of 6-man tag or something for No Mercy.
You are listening to the Wrestling Morning Show. I'm with Brent Coder for the Code Break. You could follow him at Code Rock 874. Now it's time to ask Coder some of our Twitter questions from last night and get his opinion. The first question I asked, which is a little outdated for the time we talk now. Are you ready for the Monday Ritual? Heading into tonight, presumably No Mercy. What rivalry are you most excited to see go to the next level? So this is right before Monday Night Raw. You watching last night. Were you most excited to see maybe an Alexa Nia unfold, Cena Roman, Brock Braun, or The Miz and Jeff Hardy? Going into last night, what were you most excited to see?
I think Cena and Reigns. I mean, I'm all in on that, probably up until the pay-per-view, looking at two of the top guys. So I was definitely looking forward to seeing where that would go, especially after the epic promo in ring the previous week. So that's what I was looking forward to last night.
Okay, the next question. We talked about the fun way to open. Now, I asked, because I'm concerned, on this extended Labor Day weekend, how would you describe your holiday? Lazy weekend, did nothing. Spent time with family. Eat, drink, party, repeat. Or it sucked, typical weekend. How was your weekend, Coder?
Good. I spent some time with family, but work wasn't an option, and I had quite a bit of that to do. I have a big event coming up next weekend that I had to put a lot of time in, but I did get to put some time in with the family, so a good weekend overall.
Okay, the next question. And I want to let you know, even though the polls are still open, 44% said lazy weekend and did nothing. And the question before that, of course, was Cena and Roman. That's what everybody was excited about. The next question, are you happy with Corey Graves doing Raw and now SmackDown Live, both weekly? Options are yes, no, too much Graves, or need to go in a different direction.
It might be too much Graves. I mean, I'm happy for the guy. Another opportunity for him. And it may just be temporary until they actually find somebody more permanent. So we may see him for a month or two, and they bring in somebody more permanent to the brand so that Corey can focus on one show or the other. That's a pretty heavy workload to be able to follow and be invested in all the storylines going on in both shows, plus the other things he's got going on outside of the shows. He's in a tough position. He's certainly got his plate full, I think. So whether it's temporary or permanent, I think I'm fine with Corey Graves. There are certainly worse options.
All right, well, 65% said yes. They're happy with that. Second would be 19%, too much Graves. I'll tell you what, he is very solid at what he does. I'm a fan of having completely different voices on each brand, but I think with the news breaking last week, let's put somebody that we can rely on who'll do a good job, and of course, they'll probably shuffle it up coming up. So when Raw got sluggish last night, I asked a fantasy question. Which character would dominate the WWE landscape if they wrestled? It's a fictional character here. Would it be Jason Bourne, Daniel Craig's James Bond, Jack Reacher, or John Wick? That's a tough one.
I'll go with Jason Bourne here.
John Wick, 36%. Jason Bourne, 32%. So that was interesting. I might have to pin that up because I'm curious what other people think. And that was our Twitter poll questions. So I appreciate everybody chiming in with that. And, of course, they will stay open at least another 24 hours so you guys could vote. All right, his name is Coder. This is the Code Break. You could follow him on Twitter at Code Rock 874. Code Rock 874 on Twitter. Coder, anything else? Because we talked about a lot, I guess, today.
Yeah, we covered pretty much most of Raw, I think. Looking forward to SmackDown tonight.
I think they got to, after a horrible SmackDown last week, they got to start setting the tone now. Because now they got 4.5 weeks till Hell in a Cell. So I think that we're going to see some good things happening, I'm hoping, tonight.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to some further storyline development. It was certainly a weak show last week, and there's nothing but room for improvement. It should be a good show tonight.
Okay, Coder, thank you so much for joining the program. Hopefully we'll talk tomorrow. And if we do talk tomorrow, one of our major discussions, John Cena and the backlash of people thinking that he's burying wrestlers. I'm going to prove everyone wrong on that one. I'm curious your stance on that. Thank you, Mr. Coder, for joining the show, bud.
All right, man. I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Thank you.
It's the Code Break with Brent Coder.
All right, that was the Code Break with Brent Coder. Follow Coder at CodeRock874. That's CodeRock874. Well, you know, it's amazing when Coder joins the show. When every time a Raw or pay-per-view is awesome, there's just so much energy in my voice, his voice, our energy together. And then, of course, Raw last night, it was a little uneventful. But you know what? That's a question I'm going to ask tonight about Christmas and New Year's Day. I don't know. I kind of feel bad about that. Selfishly, yes, I'm so excited on a day where obviously Christmas night, so many people are fatigued and tired. And not to mention there's nothing really open on a Monday night on Christmas. But have some compassion. These people have kids and families, and this was the one guaranteed day. There are no days off in wrestling. Really no. Yeah, most wrestlers may have a Wednesday, Thursday off, and of course they're on the road Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Then they go to their respective cities. And not to mention now, because everything is live on Monday and Tuesday, Raw, the Raw brand, the Raw superstars, they perform Tuesday in a house show and vice versa. So I find that, I don't know. But maybe I'm delusional. Maybe the wrestlers are getting paid more. Maybe there's some incentive to doing this. Not everyone has kids. Maybe they'll have Christmas Eve off. So I don't know. Okay, we got a lot of show tomorrow. And we're going to have our open discussion about, does John Cena bury people? I don't think he does. And if you're listening, that's all I'm going to talk about today on Twitter. I want people to come and debate me on this. Debate me on this. Yeah, I'm going to respect anything you have to say. Everything you say is obviously subjective. I may not agree, but I will respect if you come on the show tomorrow and we'll talk about this. There are a lot of people obviously who hate Cena. And the reason they hate Cena, they don't even know why they hate Cena, which is a little bit weird. Uninformed, slightly uneducated, but I will respect what you have to say. So, on a Raw that really gave us nothing to move the storyline forward, per se, we saw a great steel cage in the main event. We got to see Cena and Roman again on the microphone. I think things are going to start playing out with Dean and Seth. It's going to be interesting. There's still some unfinished answers with just a couple weeks away between Miz, the Hardys, the Miz Taraj, and, of course, the Intercontinental Championship. Finn Balor and Bray, that's pretty much set for No Mercy. Let's go ahead and look at the card as of now, where the card stands. Obviously, Brock and Braun. And then, of course, there's going to be a rematch for the tag titles. Alexa versus Sasha versus Nia versus Emma, Fatal 4-Way. Finn and Bray Wyatt. And then we'll find out who will face Neville for the Cruiserweight Championship. Oh, and by the way, John Cena, Roman Reigns. The poster has Braun and Brock, as it should. But the anticipation is for Cena and Roman. I'm very excited about that. All eyes will be on Los Angeles, Staples Center, September 24th. Less than 20 days away, my friends. And if they're smart, WWE will capitalize the fact that they are in this media hub of Los Angeles. We're going to see a lot of our favorite superstars on all types of shows. So that's going to be fun, regardless. Okay, it's about that time. We had a pretty solid show for the most part. It was slightly uneventful. I mean, it only gets dictated by you guys, the fans, and of course, what happens the night before. But we got a lot of conversation coming up tomorrow's program. So we're going to discuss some of the forum questions. We'll post them on Twitter. Follow us on Twitter at Live Morning Show. This show will go on demand in about 60 minutes after we sign off. The easiest way to listen, my friends, iTunes, Google Play, download the app, be part of that show. Follow us on Twitter. We also post the show on demand, iTunes, Google Play, Spreaker, iHeartRadio, SoundCloud, YouTube. Spreaker's the main hub that carries full content of the show. Any information you need, go to thewrestlingmorningshow.com. So many people I would like to thank for the show today. I want to thank Broadcast Row, the network that provides this show. Once again, I want to thank Brent Coder, one of our great contributors. You can follow him at CodeRock874. I want to thank everybody that I've talked to, come across, met, socialized with online, the fans of the program, and of course, wrestling fans in general. I appreciate you guys more than you know. So hopefully you had a nice weekend. Everything's back to normal today. A lot of you guys are going back to a sluggish day at work, school, and whatnot. Thank you guys for listening to the program. And for everybody around the world, be good.
The Wrestling Morning Show with Mardel, live on Broadcast Row.